Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit, but that's because recently, I've gone up to vacation. I'm currently at a hotel resort, so I'm not near my regular place that I make videos. But before I went to on vacation, the finale of The Boys season 3 dropped, so I got to see that just before I left. So this is just gonna be my thoughts on the series overall. I'm not gonna go like play by play throughout the entire, throughout like episode by episode. If I did that, then we'd be here all night. So this isn't gonna be like my review of like Chucky season 1, where it's gonna take like an hour long. So I'm not gonna waste any more time and just get started on my thoughts right now. So basically, the show like just fires off on all cylinders right out the gate. Carl Urban is great as always as Billy Butcher. Same with Jack Quaid as Huey Campbell. Erin Moriarty as Starlight. Anthony Starr as Homelander. Basically everybody in the show like still does a fantastic job. It's kind of coming off of season 2 where Billy Butcher is now working for the Federal Bureau of Soup Affairs. I think that's what they're called, the FBSA. Where he and the rest of the boys, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and the female, like they're taking out rogue soups on behalf of Victoria Newman, who they actually find out really quick that she was the head popping soup that blew up half of Congress in the previous season. And that's really what drives Butcher to finally use like a version of Compound V that only lasts for about 24 hours. That's how he gets his powers in the trailers. Which the V-24 or Temp V is supplied by Queen Maeve, who's now like an undercover ally for Butcher and the boys. And she also sends Butcher on this goose chase to Russia to find this weapon that will finally kill Homelander. Well, the backstory behind that is that the weapon was what killed Soldier Boy back in the 80s. And well, once we get to like the mid-season finale, we find out that Soldier Boy is actually the weapon. He didn't die. He just got experimented on by the Russians, and now he got this additional superpower that fires this massive blast of radiation or something that can actually take away a soup's powers. And I don't know if that was like intentionally, like a bit of a jab at like Superman 4, because like if I recall, Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, it was actually revealed that Superman can lose his powers due to radiation. So either way, I just kept thinking of that movie whenever Soldier Boy used his powers. And speaking of Soldier Boy, Jensen Ackles is great. I was never actually a fan of Supernatural, but I did appreciate Jensen Ackles like as an actor, and the thing that the role that I prefer that I liked him the most in was as like Jason Todd or Red Hood back during the animated Under the Red Hood film. But aside from that, he played Soldier Boy just fantastically in this show. Once we get to the final 2 episodes where it's revealed that he's actually Homelander's father, that was really interesting, because I honestly thought that meant that he would team up with Homelander, and obviously in the finale they didn't do that. Instead, they did end up killing each other. Well, not killing each other, they fought each other, which led to Billy Butcher and the rest of the boys fighting Soldier Boy because Soldier Boy attacked Ryan. And speaking of Ryan, so during the first 3 episodes was kind of like building up the relationship between him and Billy, and it kind of got all torn down because Billy was trying to protect Ryan, but in doing so he kind of pushed him away, which opened the door for Homelander to like swoop in and basically like give like the father-son pep talk about like I'm not mad, I'll always love you no matter what, which kind of pushed him back into Homelander's arms, which leads to like up to that final scene in the finale where Ryan watches Homelander kill a guy, and like he actually like visibly approves of it, as well as like that crowd of people who were like cheering him on. But I was really kind of hoping that like Ryan would actually save Billy and the rest of the boys from Homelander and Soldier Boy at the very last minute, but I guess they decided to do like the subverted expectations thing with that. Whatever, like really the only out of all the theories that I had over this season, the only one that actually that I was actually right on was that Billy and the boys would eventually like stop using Temp V because they'd find out that that the drug was like slowly killing them, which is exactly what happens. Starlight finds out that the Temp V causes like lesions in the brain, which was shown in the penultimate episode, where like blood is literally leaking from Billy Butcher's ears. And then at the end of the season, like he actually blacks out from using one more dose, and he's basically on life support now with, I think, about like 12 to 18 months to live. I think that's what the doctor said in the show. But that was really the only prediction I had when the first trailer dropped, and that's the only one that came true. And it didn't even happen the way I thought it would, because I thought that like there'd be this whole like subplot metaphor about like addiction and stuff, which I guess you could say kind of happened, but it was never outright stated, so I guess that was left up to the imagination. And I guess the only other prediction I really had that came true came like really late in the season when Victoria and Homelander actually teamed up for like one thing, where like she gave him Ryan's location in return for like doing her a favor, and I knew that favor would be like killing the presidential candidate Dakota Bob's VP running mate so that she could be the VP, because in the original comics, Victoria Newman is actually Victor Newman, who is the vice president of Dakota Bob in the comics. Now in the show, they're not going to have them be president and vice president right out the gate. Now they're building up to them, like, they're building up to putting them in the White House. So that's really the only other prediction I had of the show that, like, actually came true. Probably the only other thing that I didn't really like, sorry, this is the only thing that I didn't like about the show at all, was it felt too heavy-handed on the politics. And like, and I get it, it's just it was just 1 year after the whole January 6th stuff, but they stereotyped one particular side of the political discussion to the point where it just comes off as cartoonish. And the craziest part is like there's even a scene like in episode 2 where Homelander he basically says something along the lines of like, the government is trying to control you and they're trying to control me, and like, if they can control me, think of what they can do to you. And I mean, he's absolutely right. Like, especially now, there are a lot of people in the government who just want control. We've seen this for the past couple of years. So I find it a little bit funny that, like, they're putting those words in the mouth of, like, a straight-on villain, because, like, I mean, I've kind of known this for a while now. Like, that's one of the ways that is one of the ways that people try to, like, control how you think by having an actor play a villain in a movie, or they write a comic book villain, and then they have them say some ridiculous stuff, but they also put in, like, one or two actual truths in there. Like, that was that whole thing where this one Marvel writer, like, he wrote the Red Skull into saying, like, some outlandish stuff, but then amongst all that, he also wrote in, like, some of these talking points that actually made sense. So, I don't know. My point is, like, there's a lot of times where, like, movies, TV shows, comic books, the writers of those, like, they try to have people think a certain way by having the villain have these certain beliefs. So, whatever. Anyway, but aside from all that, it was a great show all around. I really liked the finale, especially, like, the final fight between Homelander, Queen Maeve, Butcher, all the boys, everyone. And I'm really excited to see how Season 4 goes forward, especially with now, like, they don't have the superpowers anymore. They got rid of the Temp V, and now it looks like they're actually going to be focusing more on Victoria Newman than, like, just Homelander. So that's really it for me. I'm probably not going to make another video while I'm up on vacation, but I just wanted to squeeze this one out after watching the final episode the other day. So that's it for now. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and don't forget to like the video. Bye.